So, you all know who I am. I'm Dr. Von Bulow, and so one of the great resources we have that is so underused is hypnosis.
Here, here.
Excellent, Ilana. And so I had early experience with hypnosis using it when I was a dental student. And so I used it for a little while when we started practice. And I quickly got out of practice and didn't feel I had the time to spend with patients to do a really good job. But we've always used facets of it, the way we speak to patients and using their name and having a certain rhythm to the way we do things. And just a couple of tools that we maintain. When I met Ted Moreno is a certified hypnotherapist, I just thought, here's a guy that can really make a difference for our patients. Half the people in the United States do not go to the dentist on a regular basis. About 20% of those people do not go because they're just flat out scared. I thought Ted and what Ted does so well would be a great resource for us to help people get the care that will help them live longer and have a greater quality of life. So, the man that I look for to really make a difference for folks in our practice is Ted Moreno. His practice is right here in South Pasadena.
That's right.
And this is Ted.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Jack. My pleasure. Okay. Welcome to tonight. Now, I think I can get everybody's name. It's Giovanna, Chelsea, and Alex. Okay. All right. So I thought I would start tonight with a couple of jokes.
All right.
Is that all right?
All right.
I have a dentist joke and a doctor joke.
Okay.
So I will. So a guy goes into the dentist's office. He gets into the chair. He's getting ready for a checkup. Dentist comes in, says, open wide. He looks in his mouth, looks in there and says, good God, he says, you've got the biggest cavity I've ever seen. Biggest cavity I've ever seen. The patient says, okay, doc, I'm nervous enough. You don't have to say something like that twice. And the dentist says, I didn't. That was the echo. So a guy walks into a doctor's office. He has a cucumber up his nose. He has a carrot in his left ear and a banana in his right ear. He says, what's wrong with me? Doctor says, you're not eating properly. So anyway, just always good to start off with a little bit of laughter. Yeah. Now, we all know that going to the dentist, going to the doctor sometimes is not a laughing matter, okay? Yeah, we know we should go. We need to get those regular dental checkups. We need to go to the doctor, take care of our health. But what do we do when our level of anxiety or fear is so high that, we just can't go? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So before I do anything, let me introduce myself again. My name is Ted Moreno. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I've been in private practice for 10 years. And I specialize in helping people with anxiety and all kinds of different forms of anxiety. The tool that I use is hypnosis. But I also teach my clients some very valuable tools that they can use to help themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you 5 simple things that you can do to begin to ease your anxiety about going to the doctor or going to the dentist. So if you use these things, you're going to find that these can ease your anxiety, whether you're in the doctor or dentist's office or in the days and weeks leading up to it. Okay? Giovanna, do you have some nervousness or fear about going to the dentist or doctor, or not really?
Yes.
A little bit. Okay. So sometimes...
A little.
Okay, more than just a little.
I love telling you a joke. Last time I went to Dr. Van Boel's office, my blood pressure was so high, he made me go check out my cardiologist first. and he sent you a letter saying it was okay for me to come back. But my anxiety level goes up and then my blood pressure goes up.
So you know that even thinking about it can trigger that anxiety. I mean, even in the days and weeks, just thinking about it can bring up those negative emotions. So what I want to do is I want to give you some handouts, and you can just follow along. There you go, and one for...
Dr. He's got me figured out. When I call in to get my teeth cleaned, his girl at the counter says, can you come in 5 minutes? We got an appointment for you in about 5 minutes. Because they know me, if I wait too long, I'll chicken out, right?
Okay.
The girls were so good for me.
So let's talk about why people have anxiety or fear about going to the dentist or the doctor. I mean, why is this such a big deal, Well, it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, sooner or later, they're going to want to stick a needle in you. right?
Pain.
Yeah, so there's some pain, there's some anxiety. You know, you go to the doctor, he makes you take your clothes off. You know, you go to the dentist, there's all these weird noises and all these weird smells, you know. If you're a woman and you're going to the doctor for women's stuff, I understand that could be a little uncomfortable. If you're a guy going to the doctor for guy stuff, and the doctor puts on that rubber glove, let's just not even go there. You know, these are the kind of things that can trigger anxiety. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, seriously.
My blood pressure.
The important thing to remember is that this anxiety and fear, that's a natural part of our makeup. Like, we're born with that, and it's there to protect us. It's there to keep us from danger, okay? So imagine that hundreds of thousands of years ago, you're a cave person. You're out there in the wilderness, you know, collecting nuts and berries, and then you turn around and there's a huge tiger standing there looking at you as if you would be a tasty meal. Well, in that moment, your body's going to go through some physiological changes. Even before you run or yell or do anything, your body's going to have some reactions. Can anybody tell me what those reactions are? Anybody guess what's going to happen in your body?
Heart rate goes up.
Your heart rate is going to start beating faster. What else?
Adrenaline.
Your adrenaline. So your body's going to start secreting adrenaline in your bloodstream. The blood in your body is going to be shunted to the big muscle groups in your arms and legs. Your breathing is going to become more quicker and more shallow. Okay, your muscles are going to tense up.
Could you start to even cry?
You might start crying. You might even void your bladder.
Wet your pants?
Yes, exactly. Because your body wants to lighten the load. And the whole reason your body is doing this is to prepare you to fight or to run away. And that's why this response is known as the fight or flight response. Now, the chances of us bumping into a tiger in our daily lives outside of the zoo are pretty slim, but we still have that response to things in life that our mind sees as scary. Whether it's the dentist or the doctor or elevators or bridges. So the things I'm going to teach you today are going to help you to manage that response, that fight or flight response, when it gets triggered, so that you know exactly what to do when those negative emotions come up and you start feeling like you have more control. How does that sound?
Yes.
All right, great.
I'm for that.
Okay, so let's get right into it and let's talk about the number one thing that you can do to begin to create calm and relaxation in your body. It's the simplest primary thing you can do. Anybody tell me what it is?
Breathe.
Breathe. It's right in front of you. That's right. So taking deep, slow breaths sends a very powerful message to your body and your mind that everything is okay. So everybody take a deep breath right now. See, now just one deep breath has an immediate effect on your body. Your heart starts beating a little bit slower. Your body becomes oxygen enriched. This type of breathing is the exact opposite of what your body is doing when it's in fight or flight. So when you feel negative emotions come up, when you're sitting in the dentist's office, when you're thinking about making that appointment, or when you're on the way to the appointment and you start feeling those negative emotions, first thing you can do is just start taking some deep, slow breaths. And you can do this when you're sitting in the dentist's chair or when you're in the doctor's office. Just slow, deep breaths. Now, what you want to do when you're taking these deep breaths is you want to say something to yourself. Some positive affirmation like, I can be calm and relaxed. Or I can do this.
That's my favorite right there.
I can do this.
I say it all the time. I can do this.
I can handle this.
That's right.
Okay? So we want to be giving our mind that positive command while we're taking those slow, deep breaths. Now, the other thing we can do is known as mental rehearsal. See, most people have a tendency to do, and there's a technical term for it. It's called scaring the crap out of yourself. Most people have a tendency to imagine like the worst possible outcome. So to counteract that, we want to do some mental rehearsal. We want to imagine while we're taking these deep breaths, we want to imagine that we're feeling calm, relaxed, and comfortable. Hi, come on in.
Ted, this is Edith. Edith, this is Ted.
Hi, Edith. That's quite all right. Have a seat.
Hi, Edith.
Now, I'm going to count on you guys to let me know how the temperature is. If it gets too cold, we have a volunteer. It's right back there. You could just press the warmer or the cooler button, okay? All right. So please,
But it keeps the germ level down.
please,
keeps you awake.
Okay, yes, please speak up if the temperature gets uncomfortable for you. Okay, so we're talking about mental rehearsal. Everybody know who the LA Lakers are? Everybody know who Phil Jackson is? Okay, so Phil Jackson, the reason he got so popular and the reason why he became such a winning coach is that he would have his players visualize the play or the shot that he wanted them to make even before they went out onto the court. So the idea is that what you impress upon your mind as far as visual imagery is going to have a very powerful effect on your mind. So when you're taking those deep breaths, when you're saying something positive to yourself, such as I can do this or I can manage this, you want to close your eyes and imagine yourself being at Dr. Jack's office, feeling calm, relaxed, comfortable. Imagine Dr. Jack asking you how you're doing. You're saying, Dr. Jack, I'm doing great. Or saying the same thing to your doctor. Because the more you picture this, the more your mind is going to become comfortable with that. Make sense to everybody?
Absolutely.
All right. So that's the number one thing. Breathing, saying something positive to yourself, and doing a little mental rehearsal. The very basic stuff you can do doesn't cost you any money.
So Ted,
yes.
Quick question for that one. So, I mean, sometimes I get like affirmations, and then even though I say them or I think them to myself, there's still kind of like the yes meter inside of me. It's like, I'm not really okay. I'm saying it, but I'm really not feeling. Maybe I'm not breathing at the time or something like that. But I mean, what's something that I could do in those situations? Or I guess that's really the thing.
That's a great question. And we're going to talk about affirmations in just a minute, and I will answer that question when we get there, okay? You're a little bit ahead of me. But that's an excellent question, which I've already intended to talk about.
A voice in the back of your head, never much of a cheerleader.
That's right. No, it's not. But we want to make it our cheerleader. So let's move on to the second thing you can do. And the second thing you can do, can anybody tell me what it is? Affirmations, okay? All right, so let me ask you a question. In the days and in the hours leading up to your dental or doctor appointment, what kind of conversation are you having in your mind? Or what do you, maybe even out loud with other people? What might you be saying to yourself or to other people in the days and weeks? I hope he doesn't find anything. Yeah. So what if, right? What else? What else might people be saying? What's that? I hear there's a new hygienist. What's she going to be like, right? Or, oh my God, I'm so scared. Or, I hope, should I cancel the appointment? Or am I going to be able to do this? So, all this kind of negative self-talk may accurately reflect what you're feeling, but it's not productive. In fact, what it does is it reinforces the very problem that you want to get rid of. So we want to counteract that by using positive language. We want to tell ourselves, you know what, I can do this. This is going to be okay. I can manage this. My health is important. And this is what I have to do to my health, for my health.
I'm going to eat a brownie when I get out.
There you go. I'm going to reward myself with a milkshake. Okay? So these are called... No, you can do whatever you want, Giovanna. So these are called affirmations. Now, to respond to Phil's question, affirmations are not meant to be true. They are not meant to be statements of fact. They are simply tools whose purpose is to get our mind familiar with what we want. Whatever we say to ourselves enough, we will come to believe. Because that subconscious mind is always listening. Now, when we give ourselves an affirmation and that resistance comes up, that's exactly what we want to happen. Okay? We want to note that resistance. We want to say, okay, well, there's that part of me that I've been fighting. So you just want to continue to say those affirmations. And if you want to make the affirmations even more powerful, if you really want them to sink deeply into your mind, say them out loud so that you can hear them as well as think them. And the best time to say affirmations, without a doubt, first thing in the morning after you get up, last thing at night before you go to bed. You know why? Because you're in hypnosis at those times. Your mind is suggestible to thoughts and ideas. So if you want to begin to change up how you feel about going to the dentist or doctor, start saying some positive affirmations. First thing when you wake up, last thing at night before you go to bed. Now, I'll give you one more tip you can do to make your affirmations like super duper powerful, you want to handwrite them. Handwriting is a backdoor to the subconscious mind. Anybody here ever heard of handwriting analysis?
Yes.
Yeah. So handwriting analysis is where they take a sample of your handwriting and they can tell like 300 things about you. Okay? Because who you are comes out in your handwriting. But it also goes in the opposite direction, and most people don't know this. What you write goes into your subconscious mind. Anybody ever have a teacher that said, go up to the board and write 100 times, I will not talk in class? Yeah. See, they knew something about how to affect the mind. Printing doesn't work as well. It really does need to be cursive or handwriting. So if you want to begin to change up this anxiety or fear about visiting your healthcare provider, start writing some affirmations. Just like I described, just like what's in your handout there. First thing in the morning, last thing at night. Very simple, very easy, very powerful. Most people won't do it because it doesn't cost any money. All right? Any questions about this? Are we connecting? Does this make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a handout to, it's my guide to affirmations, okay? So Giovanna, if you would take one of these and pass them down, okay? So this has a little more specific instructions about how to use affirmations. There was a time when I didn't put much stock in affirmations, but I just recently started rereading Think and Grow Rich. Anybody ever heard of Think and Grow Rich?
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, back in 1937, Napoleon Hill was talking about the power of affirmations, so they really are very effective. All right, so let's move on to number 3. And number 3 is called anchoring. Anchoring. Now, when we think about what an anchor is, we think of a boat, right? You throw the anchor out, the anchor goes down, goes all the way down to the ocean floor, grounds the boat, keeps the boat still so that if the waves are choppy or if there's a storm coming through, the boat stays nice and still and grounded, right?
Right.
So when we talk about an anchor today, we're talking about something that you can do that's going to immediately make you feel calm, centered, and grounded. It's something that you can do physically even when you're sitting in the dentist chair or even when you're in the doctor's office. Now this requires some preparation. You want to prepare this anchor like maybe a week or a couple of weeks actually before you have your appointment. So what it involves, very briefly, and then we'll actually do it. It involves putting yourself into a state of deep relaxation. And a good way to do this is by imagining what's known as special place. I'm sure you can guess what a special place is. Any place that you can imagine in your mind where you feel calm, relaxed, and comfortable. So examples of different kinds of special places for different people are like the beach, the mountains, your vacation hideaway. A lot of people like being in their bed under the covers in the backyard, okay?
Inside church.
Inside church would be a perfect place. So you want to imagine this. This exercise will take about 5 minutes. You want to imagine you're there. You want to feel all the positive feelings of peace and tranquility and calm. And then you want to anchor those feelings into your body by rubbing your thumb against the first 2 fingers of one or both of your hands. Okay? When you do this, while you're imagining yourself in that special place, you want to take 3 deep breaths, and on each exhalation you want to say an affirmation. Okay? So if you do this 2 or 3 or 4 times, the next time you're in the dentist chair and you start to feel those negative emotions, you simply do that, take 3 deep breaths, and because of the association, that's going to trigger feelings of calm, comfort, relaxation, and control. Everybody get that? See what I'm saying? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. This kind of practice. So everybody go ahead and close your eyes. Okay? And just imagine a place that is calm and tranquil to you. As I mentioned, it could be a vacation spot. It could be in your backyard. Just imagine a place that if you were there right now, you would feel very relaxed, very calm, and very, very comfortable. And just so I know that I'm kind of keeping up with everybody, just give me a little nod of your head if you have such a place. Okay, great. So really let this place become very clear to you. And if you can't see anything, then get connected to the feelings, or pretend, or imagine what it would be like to be in that place. Think about what you would see or hear, the temperature, the colors. Let yourself get totally involved with peace, tranquility, calm, comfort, and ease. But most important, just let yourself feel the positive feelings that you would have from being there. Just a couple of more seconds of kind of connecting with that wonderful, tranquil, serene place. Now start rubbing your thumb against the first two fingers of one or both your hands. Just start rubbing your fingers together, picturing yourself in this wonderful, tranquil place. Take a deep breath. On the exhalation, say something to yourself, something positive, like calm, or I'm relaxed, or I can do this. Up to you. Take another deep breath, second deep breath, while rubbing your fingers together, imagining yourself in this nice place. And again, on the exhalation, say your special phrase. And then a third breath, breathing in deeply, rubbing those fingers together. And exhaling. Keep rubbing those fingers together, imagining those peaceful, calm, relaxing feelings. And then you can allow that image to fade. You can go ahead and open your eyes now. Okay? So when you do that, you want to take about 5 minutes to do that. Now, if you did that for 5 days in a row, the next time you did that, you would feel something. Just from the process of association. Now imagine what would happen if you did it for like 14 days in a row, for just 5 minutes a day. The next time you're sitting in the doctor's office and you started to feel those negative emotions, doing this would immediately trigger that same calm, comfortable feeling. Okay? Very, very powerful. I teach this to every anxiety client that comes into my office. I teach it to smokers too. When they feel those urges, that's what they do. Very effective. Don't discount the effectiveness of this because it's so simple. Okay? Any questions about how this works? Very good. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is called EFT. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and I'm going to give you a handout after we talk about this. Of all the tools that I have in my toolbox that I use to help my clients, the number one most powerful tool that I have is the tool of hypnosis, but the number two most powerful tool that I have is called EFT. It stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And just like the name of it says, it's a way to free yourself from emotions that you don't want to have. But the cool thing about EFT is you can use it for physical problems as well. So you can use it on emotions such as fear, anxiety, anger, resentment, sadness, or you can use it on physical problems such as pain or discomfort or aches or a cold or, other medical problems as well. It really works, but you have to use it. So let's go over it, okay? Now I really don't have time to go into like why this works or how it works, but on your handouts I've given you a website which is emofree.com, and that's the official website for EFT. So you can go there, you can read all about EFT, and if you type in tapping or EFT into YouTube, there's literally hundreds of videos about EFT. Okay, so this is how we're going to do EFT. Now, as I mentioned, there's a number of different things you can use EFT on, but today we're just going to use it on fear of going to the dentist. Fair enough? Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to kind of calibrate like where your fear is on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like the most fear. Okay? So just kind of, probably not anybody feeling any fear right now, but, the day before your appointment or maybe as you're sitting. See if we can get that fear up, right? So the reason you do this is because when you start doing EFT, you can start feeling the fear go down. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take these two middle fingers right here, And then right here on the upper part of the chest, you want to rub. Most people have a sore spot somewhere in that upper part of the chest. So if you can find the sore spot, that's great. But if you don't have a sore spot, okay, just rub that spot and repeat after me. Even though I have this fear of going to the dentist,
even though I have this fear of going to the dentist,
I deeply and completely
love
and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Now, if you have a problem saying that you deeply and completely love and accept yourself, then you should be doing this every single day, numerous times during the day. Okay? Because if you can't say that, then you've got a problem. All right? So we're just going to acknowledge that even though we have a human problem, we're okay. You know? Even though we have like some fear about going to the dentist or fear about this, that, or the other, doesn't mean we suck.
What's the words again you said?
Even though I have this fear of going to the dentist. Let's do it again a second time. Ready?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a handout. So, even though I have this fear of going to the dentist, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Say it one more time. Even though I have this fear of going to the dentist,
even though I have this fear of going to the dentist,
I deeply and completely
love
and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Okay. So that's how we start doing EFT. Next, we're going to tap on certain parts of the body. Now, the points that we're going to tap on kind of correspond to acupuncture points. Does anybody here have ever had acupuncture?
No.
You've had acupuncture. I've had acupuncture numerous times.
I'd like to do it.
But instead of sticking needles in ourselves, which we don't want to do, we're going to tap on ourselves. So the first place we're going to tap is the inside edge of the eyebrow. We're going to tap maybe 5 or 6 taps, and we're going to say, fear of going to the dentist. Then we're going to tap on the outside edge of the eyebrow, fear of going to the dentist. Then we're going to tap on the bone right below the eye, fear of going to the dentist.
Same fingers right there.
Same fingers, middle 2 fingers, yeah. Then we're going to tap right below the nose on the upper lip, fear of going to the dentist. Then we're going to tap on the chin, fear of going to the dentist. Then we're going to, there's 2 bones here, they're called clavicles. And right where they connect to the sternum, which is the middle bone, there's 2 kind of little nubs. You want to tap right below that and say, fear of going to the dentist. Tap underneath your armpit, fear of going to the dentist. Okay. These 2 points, you go straight down. For men, right below your nipple. For women, maybe the bottom of your bra strap. Fear of going to the dentist. Okay. Now, on your wrist, there's 2 points. There's a point here and a point here. Just tap those wrists together. Say, fear of going to the dentist. And on the very top of your head, fear of going to the dentist. Okay? So that's a round of EFT. So what you want to do when you feel that negative emotion, how does that feel?
Like the room lit up. I hate to say it, it's like...
It really has an effect, doesn't it? Yeah. So you want to do this until you get that fear or that anxiety or that issue down to about a 2 or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. Now you might do 3 to get it down to the 2 or 3 level. You might have to do 5. But if you keep doing it, you'll notice the level of your discomfort or your fear or your pain getting lower and lower and lower and lower. So when you get it down to about a 2 or 3, and just keep doing it over and over again, okay? When you get it down to about a 2 or 3, you want to move to the middle part of EFT, which involves tapping on this point right here, right behind the 4th and 5th knuckle on that little indentation. Right here. Yeah, right here. Okay? So you want to tap there continuously and follow my directions. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Without moving your head, look down hard to the right. And now look down hard to the left. Make a big circle with your eyes in one direction. Make a big circle with your eyes in the opposite direction. Now we're going to hum 2 seconds of a song. Doesn't matter what song, but we're going to do Happy Birthday. Ready? Now we're going to count from 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to hum again. Stop. Now we're going to do the third part, which is the same as the first part. We're going to tap on those spots one more time. So fear of going to the dentist. 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 Okay? And that's how you do EFT. It really works. Okay? So here's a handout. If you would hand these out, please. There you go. Now, oops.
Is the diagram on there?
Hold on. Yeah, there's a diagram. Yeah, there's diagrams, and like I said, if you go to emofree.com, you can read a little bit more about how EFT works. Just so you know, the counting, that's left brain. The humming is right brain. So we're kind of rebooting the brain a little bit. The whole idea is to remove from the body's energy system negative emotions that keep being triggered. Okay? So how's that? You got a diagram on how to do EFT. Very simple, very easy, yet very, very effective.
How did you learn that?
I learned it in hypnotherapy school.
Wonderful.
Yeah, as an adjunct to hypnosis. I use EFT. I don't really have anxiety about much, but I use it for anger and frustration. So I have two little kids, and they're just like, God, clean this room up, please. Okay. All right. So how are we doing so far?
Very informative.
EFT. Now let's talk about number 5. Number 5 is diet. Diet has a profound effect in the management of fear and anxiety.
I agree with that.
Okay? Now this is a complex subject, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But very, very briefly, whatever you eat gets turned into something called blood sugar, also known as blood glucose. Now your body operates best when your blood glucose level is nice and even. If your blood sugar level is too high too often, then we're running into a condition called what? Diabetes. If the blood sugar is too low, now we have hypoglycemia. Okay? Now, for some people, not all, but for some people, if the blood sugar gets too low, the body sees that as an emergency and it will trigger the fight or flight response. How does this apply to going to the dentist or the doctor? The night before, you want to eat a good dinner, and you want to eat the morning of, and maybe have lunch before you go see your dentist or doctor. Under no circumstances do you want to go see your dentist or doctor without having eaten in the last 3 or 4 hours, because that's a recipe for disaster. Yes. Now, when I say having a good meal, I mean a meal with both protein and carbs. Okay? I was talking to Dr. Jack before this started. What happens to a lot of people, the reason a lot of people develop fear of flying is that, the night before they fly, they're running around packing. They probably don't eat a good dinner. And then the next morning they get up and they're rushing around. That stress hormone is already going into their bloodstream. Then they'll skip breakfast and they'll all get something at the airport. They'll get to the airport, guys with guns and going through all the, and the wanding and all that. So finally, when they get a chance to sit down, they'll have like a muffin and a cup of coffee, which will spike their blood sugar. They'll get onto the plane. Then as soon as that plane takes off, that blood sugar will start dropping and dropping and dropping. And then the fight or flight response will get triggered while they're on an airplane. Then they're like, oh my God, I'm never going to fly again. And that's how a lot of these phobias and fears start, just from low blood sugar. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So make sure you eat well the night before and the day of you go to your healthcare provider appointment. And if you are challenged by anxiety and fear on a regular basis, or stress and tension, good idea to eat something every 3 hours. Don't go more than 3 hours without eating something. Okay? I'm going to give you a bonus tip. Number 6, the bonus tip is self-hypnosis. Okay? Now, I'm not going to teach you self-hypnosis, but if you email me, I will send you, for free, my guide to self-hypnosis. And the only other way you're going to get this is by taking my self-hypnosis class at Pasadena City College. Okay? So if you email me, I will send you my guide to self-hypnosis. It's very short, very simple, but you can learn self-hypnosis just from this guide. It's very simple. I'll also put you on my list so that you know when I'm offering that self-hypnosis class at PCC. I offer it once a quarter, and the next time I offer it is going to be September 20th. So, I want to say something about hypnosis because there's a lot of misperceptions about that. And just keep in mind that we're in hypnosis every single day of our lives. When we wake up, right before we go to bed, you ever had the experience of driving in your car and you missed your off-ramp because you were spacing out?
Yep.
That's a trance state.
Absolutely.
When you watch a movie and that movie makes you laugh or cry or feel scared, that's an example of a trance state. So trance states are something we go into, some people more than others. Okay, and you might know some of these people that are walking around in a trance state like all the time, right? Okay, like, huh, what? So if you come to me, as a hypnotherapist and you get hypnosis from me, you're going to be awake, you're going to be aware, you're going to hear everything I say, you're going to be fully in control, but you're going to be very, very relaxed. Even though we say words like deep sleep, hypnosis is not sleep. It's just a very comfortable state of deep relaxation where your mind is aware of everything that's going on around you. So, clucking like chicken, barking like dogs, that's just stage hypnosis in TV shows and movies. Everybody clear about that? Okay, so the final thing I'm going to give you is 7 steps for getting ready for a dental or doctor appointment. So I've taken all the things that we talked about and I put it into 7 steps. Okay? Yes?
You want questions now or after?
In just a minute. We're going to take questions in just a minute.
Okay.
Now, these 7 steps are just suggestions. If you do any one of the things I've talked about, you will experience a difference in your feelings about going to the dentist or doctor. But if you do all of the 5 things plus the self-hypnosis, you will definitely experience a reduction in your anxiety and fear or whatever else you're dealing with at this point in time. So this is just 7 steps. I'm not going to read them out, but it's a good way to prepare yourself. And if you follow this directions, you may very well get rid of fear and anxiety about the dentist or doctor, like completely and permanently. Okay? Most people won't do it because it doesn't cost any money. So, but there it is, and it's free. So I've given you some valuable information and tips on how to ease your anxiety. Do you think this was helpful? Okay, thank you. And it's helpful if you do it. Yeah. Just knowing about it is not helpful, but you actually have to do it, okay? At least breathe deeply, okay? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking to yourself, well, Ted, that sounds very good, but I just know I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm busy, I'm running around, I just know I'm not going to do any of those things. Well, as I mentioned, if you do just 1 or 2 or 3 of those things, it'll make a difference. But you might still be thinking, I'm going to need more than that. And if that's the case, then I want to extend a special invitation to you. I want to give you an opportunity to come and see me at my office in South Pasadena. Now, Dr. Jack, would you relate this story about our patient?
Yeah. We had a patient that we met who hadn't been to the dentist in 13 years. And he felt terrible. He was a great, big, hulking guy, stoic guy. He was almost in tears when he came in because he was just like trapped. He had teeth that looked like this. I didn't tell you about this part, but you may have noticed. He had a piercing through his lower lip, and half of it was still in there, and the tissue had grown around it. And so his gag reflex, which is not a real reflex, but it's his reaction or sensitivity was such. If I just put my finger inside his lower front tooth, he would, going to get ready to throw up. He would gag. So I use something that I learned, a temporal tap, where we can go like, Jason, you can do that gagging. Jason, there's no need to gag. And we were able to do an exam, and so we got past that barrier. But we really wanted Invisalign, and he wanted to look right. He didn't feel like he could get up in front of people. He didn't feel like he could relate to people really well. He's an engineering guy, so he wanted to be able to make presentations and things like that, but we couldn't even take an impression. So I get Ted on the phone. I go, Ted, I made a little progress with what I did. Do you think this will work? And he goes, yeah, send him over, So we sent him over. He was supposed to have 4 visits with Ted. And he saw Ted 1 time. The next time I saw him, he was back in the office. And we had him booked. We're going to take impressions on him, And so imagine, he gags if I go like that. You guys have had impressions maybe where it goes all the way back to your tonsils, almost. And so he goes, so Jason, how's it going? So you ready? How's it going with Ted? And he goes, well, we're going to find out right away. So we take an impression, and it's totally successful. I mean, since then, he's completed Invisalign. He's had his mouth restored. He's like a different person altogether. I have this before on Facebook somewhere, and I mean, I had one, insensitive person look at the before, and I took it off, and he was one of our other patients. He goes, the Yeti? And I go, well, that's
wow.
So I edited it out. But basically, we were able to do everything. The idea was to get him to come in a little more. When he got to the front desk, just after we took the impressions, like a big breakthrough for him. In the way he looks, the way he acts, the way he dresses, everything. And he just, in his stoked face, he goes up to Delilah and he just goes like, I'm stoked.
Thank you, Dr. Jack. So that was just one session, okay? So that's, and I had no idea what the results were till you posted it on Facebook. I was like, oh, wow, so something really happened with that guy.
Well, he came in for one purpose, and then it touched so many other areas of his life.
Yeah, and that's what usually happens. That's amazing. Yes, so if you have any questions, right now is the time to ask questions.
Kind of coordinating with what he said about you could say it, but you don't believe it type of thing. Well, what happens if you feel like you can feel this anxiety attack is coming on, not because of the dentist or anything, not because of the doctor. It just starts to coming overwhelmed with life or just the pressures of life, or what do you do then? Some Dr. Oz says you get down on the floor, you bend your knees, and you look up and you think of something wonderful, or you're sipping water at the same time. To him, that's one way of doing it. A lot of people just go to the emergency room thinking they're having a heart attack. So the visitors' room's all filled with people, and then unfortunately they spent thousands of dollars and found out it's an anxiety attack. It has nothing to do with your heart whatsoever. So he's saying, and you're saying, that if we educate ourselves, what do we do if we feel one that's really coming on?
Okay, so the first thing you should do is take some deep breaths, and you should tell yourself, okay, everything is okay. I'm okay. Having a little anxiety, not going to kill me. It will pass. I'm okay. I can make it through this. Okay? And then the second thing you can do is use that anchor. Close your eyes and you can just imagine a nice, peaceful, beautiful, comfortable place. Okay?
So it can work for anything.
It can work for anything. Then I would do some EFT. I would start tapping. Even though I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety, I deeply, completely accept myself. Feeling anxiety. That should get rid of it right away. Okay?
I love that tapping.
Then I would ask myself, when was the last time I had something to eat? If it's been more than 3 hours, have yourself a good meal. Okay? And then, if I could add anything to that, sometimes just changing your physiology. So if you're sitting down and you start to feel that, just standing up and walking around, If you're standing up and walking around and you're feeling some anxiety, just sit down and take some deep breaths. So just changing your physiology, changing kind of what you're focusing on, and then what you're saying to yourself, changing any one of those three things can break that pattern. Is that helpful?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Because, you never know what comes out. It could be driving down the street, traffic, it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. It really could be. But once you understand that, you're okay, that it's just anxiety and, it's not going to kill you, then we can go, okay, so what do I do now? How can I handle this? Then you start feeling some sense of control. Okay? And that makes all the difference in the world.
Me and Dr. Bambua, both of us, we know that teeth is connected to your heart.
Yes.
So it's really foolish if you don't go get your teeth cleaned properly, because
it could affect your heart.
According to the cardiologists, and if your gums or teeth are not healthy, it can affect the rest of your body.
You can get an infection in your pericardium, for name one thing.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day, I mean, there's a stronger connection between oral health and general health.
It's what you've been telling
Yeah.
me.
I never knew that until I saw the poster in your office, and then it made absolute sense because it said something about a slow drip into your system.
Yeah, with each and every day, there are more connections and they're clearer, and yeah, they're.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
So
strong.
if any yearly physical, it's important as your teeth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it should all be important, you know. Thank you for that question. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, thanks for coming. It was fun. Thanks for showing up. And so I'll give.
Let me personally thank you for coming here and sharing all kinds of great
My pleasure.
information. I mean, we can't wait to get more people in on this and be aware of all the things that they can do that are basically very easily doable and where they have control of things and not out of control. Basically victims who you can take control.
Just let me know. I'll do as many of these as you want me to.
Fantastic.
Okay?
Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Thanks.